Bang! Okay, I don't know why that happened, but now we should be up. We got the audio levels moving. Got some popcorn. Love me some popcorn. Yeah, we got a busy day of streaming today. We're gonna talk about the trials right now, and then we're also going to do a workout in like less than an hour. So I'm not gonna try and rush through this, but the part where I sit around and geek out for the rest of the time, that's not gonna happen right now. Not this time. Not like I have a whole bunch to say on the trials, but I definitely could say a lot on the trials if I wanted to. Let's get right into it. For those who don't know, the Sasuke trials were all throughout this week. The final episode of the trials was this morning. This morning for me. Very recently. Within like the last 12 hours. I have a lot of thoughts. The trials have always been a kind of weird event to me. I think it's fitting that there are trials to find new stars for Sasuke. At the same time, I think this could not be further from that every year for different reasons. So we're going to talk about it. Here we go. The pros, the roster. They brought back some really strong people. There was a lot of talent overall. So I will give them that. The final course, which is the final stage, you can see it in the back here with the rolling hill, fishbone, Kai-ish, single track dragon glider, and the warped wall being a speed course. It is the best one they've had in the trials period. So, you know, that's always good. I think it's better to have a slightly tougher version of stage 1 getting nerfed. Like, I think it's good that this is harder than previous stage 1s that have been used in the trials. Otherwise, there's no point. There's no point of gauging how good people actually are. The episodes being under 35 minutes without ads is super great. I think ninja shows should not be longer than 90 minutes, personally. That's just me. I think it really drags if not. So that's just, yeah, that's not fun. And the sad thing is this is, unfortunately, a very entertaining trials. And I say unfortunately because there's a lot that we got to get into. It bothers me that I think you guys will like the discussion of. Topaz Flow, thanks for chatting. Moving on to not the cons just yet, but the meh. Everyone is such a sweat. The push-ups. Spoilers for the Sasuke trials. The push-ups got to 949 push-ups. What the crap is happening? Like, why is this a regular thing that we're... Yeah, no, that's a crazy high bar. I don't like that. Personally, that's just me. Because... it's just like... I don't know. I feel like the whole point is to find people that aren't sweats and turn them into stars. Now you have a whole army of sweats trying to get on Sasuke. Because Inui's not doing... Inui's not cutting people. He's not cutting people or saving spots. So all these people who are busting their butt have to do 1,000 push-ups pretty much before they even have a shot at Sasuke, which is stupid. That's the meh. Cons. So it's funny because I said the roster is a pro, casting is a con. Yeah. The roster is cool because there's people that you recognize. Casting is an L because there are people that you recognize. There are so many people that should not have to do the trials and are in this trials. And it makes me so mad. Emoto being the biggest example. Emoto literally cleared stage 1 and was the only person in trials of this recent run of trials from 40 all the way to 42 to actually clear stage 1. He is the success story. The whole point of trials is to bring in stars, and you did that finally with Emoto. I need to switch for this, actually. I need to rant about this again. So, the whole point of the Sasuke trials is to get new people, to get more people that can maybe break through in Sasuke, at least get past the first stage. Emoto is the only one out of like 10 people that have made it into the tournament through trials that has actually cleared stage 1 as a trials person. Like that's your success story. That should be your poster boy. He shouldn't have to do the trials again. Why is he back in the trials? What is going on here? Genuinely, for being the only one that's really actually successful from the trials, he should have gotten a spot already. He should have been invited back for Sasuke 43 without having to do all of this. It's stupid. And then he doesn't get brought back. He doesn't make the cut. What are we talking about here? He's not the only one that doesn't get invited back, but he's also like the most notable in my opinion. There are a lot of people who qualify through trials that come back in this one, and I think that's also dumb, but Emoto is like the biggest example. Some people might say Mabuchi shouldn't have been in trials. He should have just been invited back. I disagree. I think Mabuchi being in there as an individual is very different as opposed to, Mabuchi getting invited via Koshin as a team. Was he the best one on his team in Koshin? Absolutely. But I think it makes sense to have him in the trials. I don't think it makes sense to have literally the best result from trials competitors in the last 3 tournaments have to do trials again. I think that's dumb. Kicking it back to the cons. There were not a lot of rounds besides the final round that were actually good. Not really a surprise to me. I don't really love any of the rounds before the final ever in any of the trials. It's just not my cup of tea. Push-ups don't help you show if you're good enough for Sasuke. Dodgeball. We'll talk. Oh my gosh, dodgeball. We'll talk about that after. The painfully obvious winner edits, they really did shove the same like 5 people down our throats. The 3 winners, the Fighting Spirit winner, and Emoto. And that was unfortunate. So, yes, there was actually dodgeball. We'll talk about that in a second. That's the next slide. Don't you worry. Actually, why is... Now that I see this, why is the chat not pulling up? It pulls up when I'm here. But if I were to... Chat needs to pull up here. Anyways. Okay. They did make it very clear who the winners were going to be. They got the most amount of screen time. They got the most amount of attention. It was just a matter of what place they were going to get. As soon as Emoto raced Mabuchi in the 4th episode, I knew like one of them's gone, the other one's going, like the other one's getting top 3 on the course. Like it's not even close. It's so unfortunate that that had to be a race. And again, Emoto just should have never been there in the first place. They should have given him a number right away before trials, without having to do trials. I will say as well, this is kind of a pro and kind of a con, but the first episode, the push-up episode, there's 5 groups of 100 people doing push-ups, and then do group 1, group 2, group 3, group 4, group 5, whatever. Group 1 was the one that went to 949. That was the entire episode. The entire episode was that one group. And then they digested like 2 other groups and they cut the other 2 groups from the broadcast. Horrible editing, but great editing of the first group. Getting to 949, they actually did a good job telling that story. So, like, there's a give and take there. You know what I'm saying? Give and take. All right. Dodgeball was round 2. The format sucks. Actually, no, it's not a terrible format, but it's not a great format. So I like the rules. There's, I'm gonna visualize here for you guys. You're in a square. People from the other team are on the outer edges, and then there's the inside of the field, so you can get attacked from all 4 sides. Both teams can get attacked from all 4 sides. 25 on 25. I liked that concept. My problem was that whichever team had more players left in the game, that would be the team that wins. And everyone who got out on that team, they still get to move on. I thought that was kind of lame. It's a shame to be like busting your butt for your team and your team doesn't pull through with you and they ruin your individual chance at getting on Sasuke. That actually like really sucks. So that part I would hate that. You would trade Pants Guy for Emoto. I would kind of agree. Kind of. In the same number block as well. He's 31. Yeah. So the dodgeball round, good rules to dodgeball itself, bad rules on who gets to advance. Now, with that said, it was also, you were just watching a PE class for 35 minutes, so it was not a good episode. There are also people who were stepping over the lines. They had professional dodgeball referees officiate this game. Like, that was insane. So people were getting called for random stuff all the time. It was kind of anticlimactic. Catching the ball also did not mean you were out. That's typically how it's played in the States. You catch the ball, the person who threw it is out. If catches were outs, I feel like the results would have been drastically different. I would have preferred if catches were outs. And if we want to talk about perfect seasons on A&W and all that other stuff, Mabuchi got onto Sasuke because he got out in dodgeball and his team still won, so they carried him to the next round. I'm just throwing that out there. But also, it really doesn't bother me, hence the text. I'm just, for any of my OCD people out there, there you go. I just ruined it for you. Episode 3 was the marathon. The guy who got the Fighting Spirit Award at the end, he, like, sprinted marathon. It was a good one. This is probably my favorite event, besides the final, but that's because I'm a distance runner. I love watching races like this. I personally believe that I would have no problem advancing to the next round in the marathon. Yeah, I would love to do this one, actually. I would genuinely really enjoy running this little marathon. I don't have much else to say on this one. The editing was fine. The rules are fine. It's definitely better than dodgeball, so yeah. This course I kept seeing around, and I thought round 4, I thought the course that they used for round 4 was going to be the team relay for Koshin. It still might be. I hope not. I think it's dumb. But basically, you push the tire up the hill, like how you did back in the trials for, I believe it was 40. Then you get a wheelbarrow with a bunch of water bottles in it. And you have to walk it up a little ramp and down a ramp. And if the water bottles fall out, you have to stop, put the water bottles back in. And that was stupid. And then it was the monkey bars from Koshin. And then a run to the finish line. So, again, I said this. When Emoto and Mabuchi ran against each other, You knew that one of them was going to get eliminated. You knew that whoever would win this race would basically lock in a spot and win the final round. You know, like, they would be fine. And that's exactly what happened. So that was a little bit annoying because it just made the edit super obvious. Emoto lost. And then Mabuchi, I was like, well, Mabuchi's taking one of the 3 spots, like 100%. So there's that. Literally, bro, imagine not qualifying for Sasuke because water bottles fell out of a wheelbarrow. Like, that was stupid. That was so stupid. Yeah. I just have a hard time, like, what is this goofy little horse? I'm just glad this wasn't like Koshin and everyone who made it through to the monkey bars actually beat the monkey bars. Like, I say this all the time. If you can't do the monkey bars, you shouldn't be on Sasuke. Thankfully, everyone beat the monkey bars here. You guys still with me in the chat? Eat some popcorn while we're at it. What do we got going on? Topaz is still here. Evan is still here. Alright. Back to it. Give me some popcorn. Okay, the last obstacle, the last one was the final course. Obviously, this is not what the course was. It just, you know, is what I pulled up. The results were a little underwhelming. They threw in the Dragon Glider after the Fishbone. That was nice. Dragon Glider took some people out. It was very obvious who was going to win. The results were underwhelming in the sense that only the people who got winner's edits actually cleared the course. Everyone else failed. Everyone else failed at some point. Someone failed Fishbone. There were a couple Rolling Hill fails. There were some Dragon Glider fails. Like, it just wasn't that exciting. Yeah. But at the same time, it was also pouring rain. At one point, there's a shot of the Fishbone, and you can barely see the Fishbone because water's just all over the camera. It's so bad, dude. Like, it was rough. That definitely affected some people's runs on Rolling Hill. Not so much on the others, because everyone who made it to the wall beat the wall. Yeah. With that said, wish we could turn back time to the good old days when Sasuke trials didn't suck and were actual ninja courses. Please give us actual courses for this. Like, you have all the obstacles in storage. Give me that instead of whatever this is. Dodgeball, bro. Dodgeball made me so mad. When they said dodgeball, I rolled my eyes so hard. Dang, I didn't have the X Factor. That's such a bummer. We are now going to crown the MVP of the Sasuke 43 trials. Go ahead and take your guesses on who it is. It's not very obvious. It's not nearly as obvious. Propeller bars and sponge bridge for the trials would actually slap. You can dodge a fishbone, you can dodge a ball. Magali for missing your flight. Nakagawa or Mabuchi. Good picks. Good picks. You're gonna be like, what the heck? The MVP for me of the Sasuke 43 trials was Yuji Urushihara. Why would I pick Yuji Urushihara, who didn't compete in the trials this year? Quite simple. He had to hit the drum for the first group of push-up people. The ones that made it to 949 push-ups. I watched these episodes with subtitles, and Yuji Urushihara was hitting the drum for 41 minutes straight at the same rhythm for everyone to do push-ups to. Legend. So shout out Yuji. He's the GOAT. The GOAT of drum hitting. The GOAT of drum hitting. Overall, this is a 5.5 out of 10. May change upon rewatch. I might not rewatch this one. The trials have never really been higher than a 6 out of 10. I think this actually might be the best or second best trials. From an entertainment standpoint, objectively, this just makes me upset that this is how we determine who gets on Sasuke. All for 4 spots out of 100. Yeah. Yeah, really, really frustrated. Like, I'm gonna be so for real, guys. I really would love to be on the Sasuke trials for the sake of having a shot of getting on Sasuke. If I have to do this, like, what's next? You're gonna make me play jump rope if I were to go to Japan? Like, yeah, no. That's stupid to me. It is 500 people, but they're competing for 4 spots out of 100. Know what I'm saying? Out of the 100 Sasuke spots. I'm so annoyed. Like, yeah. Physical Asia. Physical Asia's actually pretty good, bro. Like, there's some good... I would rather take the winners of Physical Asia over the winners of the Sasuke Trials, if not for the fact that the Sasuke Trials winners actually ran a Sasuke course. Shohei Ohtani. I'm dead. That would never happen. No, it would happen. He'd have to be retired, though. The Dodgers would never let one of their stars run this and potentially get injured. Nor do I think Inui could afford to pay Shohei Ohtani to run Sasuke. Spodan? I think Shohei fits Spodan's skill set better anyways. That's a good shout. Well, yeah, guys, those are the Sasuke trials. It's fine. It's not fine. It's actually really not. I'm very upset about the trials. It just stresses me out more and more every year how bad they are from a systemic viewpoint. Like, the structure of the trials is just not good. Very entertaining TV this time around. By far, like, it was so much more entertaining watching them do dodgeball for 35 minutes versus strong guys for 35 minutes. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, or a dead hang challenge for 35 minutes. But at the same time, this is the one that had the least objective skill for ninja, period. Oh, dodgeball in the trials is so much worse. I'm not gonna lie, I missed beach flags. I actually really enjoy when they do beach flags. And this is the first year they didn't do beach flags for the trials. I was salty. I was upset. I would much rather do beach flags. I would much rather watch beach flags. I find beach flags to be very entertaining. Even if Trials does it 1v1 style. And it's like, oh, it's over now the next match. Oh, it's over now the next match. I'd rather watch that. I'd rather have watched them do beach flags for round 4 where it typically is than watch the round 4 where they're pushing a wheelbarrow full of water bottles. Oh, that's stupid. Yeah, I have no clue, man. I have no clue. So those are my thoughts. If anyone wants to talk, I actually could talk for another 5-10 minutes or so. Yes, he did. By Mabuchi. That's why I'm upset. Because he shouldn't have. You should not have regular attendees for the Sasuke trials. You should not have attendees that show up repeatedly and perform well and maybe even qualify for Sasuke. Like, no, you should not. You should either decide from that point on, do you want to bring them back or not, and give them that invitation personally. Like, this is when I say, like, they need to start forcefully retiring competitors. I still stand by that. Stop bringing on people who are not going to win. Who have tried time and time again and they're not going to win. Because, respectfully, right? Nakagawa did get by only being the fastest loser, which is also a really stupid rule because they only did that for one person to get to 9 people. That was really dumb. Point being, Sasuke does barely anything with their current crop of stars. I say current crop of stars because they do a lot with their older stars. When you go to the meet and greets, they've got Yamada, maybe a Shingo in there. They've got a bunch of Shinseidai. Yuji. Hioki's not Shinseidai to me, but he's from around that era. Tomo from that era as well. Ryo shows up. Kano shows up. Sometimes you throw in a Shunsuke. You throw in Jun Sato, who's been around for a long time. And then you throw in Yusuke, because Yusuke is the champ and he's the face of the show right now in terms of success, right? The only other Morimoto Sadai and onward, so like 33 onward people that they show and promote, Yusuke because he's the champ, Ayano because she won Kunoichi and because she's the top female in Japan right now, and then Yoshiyuki because he's the star Black Tiger. I don't count Jun as part of that era because he's been around since Shin Sasuke. And he's done well since Shin Sasuke. They're just starting to promote Miyaoka because he just had his breakout. But that's too recent for me to say that they're regularly using him. They don't use Tada. They don't use Araki. They don't use Keitaro. They don't use anyone from that field of people. Period. And even then, they barely use some of the Shinseidai members. They don't use Muto. They don't use Suzuki. Like, these athletes are now no longer providing you marketing tools because you're not marketing them. Just because you put them in a YouTube video on the YouTube channel months after the actual tournament airs does not mean you're marketing them. It means that you decided to make their footage and their story and their whatever an afterthought. You made that an afterthought and you said, oh, it's content for the machine of the Sasuke YouTube, so we have something daily. That's what it is. They're not giving you the best results. Now, they're not giving you bad results, but they're not giving you the best results, and they're not improving. Tada improved. That's why I think, like, people bashing on Tada. Tada's improved. Tada's attempts on the burst, even then, improved. I've said it before. I'll say it again. When Tada beat the Ultra Crazy, right? Fails the vertical limit Kai. He gets to 37. He beats the dimension. He beats the vertical limit. Some people might say, oh, well, that was modified. They were nerfed because of the rain and because of the live final, all that. Sure. He goes to 38, right? He fails the dimension. First time the dimension's moving. Understandable. 39 comes around. He beats the dimension. He improves. He improves significantly because he actually makes it to the vertical limit Kai in 39. He fails it. 40 comes around. He beats the dimension again, so we know he's consistent on it. He makes it to the vertical limit Kai. He beats it. He makes the second final. He makes his second final, making him one of 7 multi-finalists in Sasuke history. 7? Him, Yusuke, Shingo, Omori, Nagano, Ryo, Yuji. I don't think I'm missing anyone. 7. He gets to 41. The vertical limit Kai is gone. It's now the vertical limit burst. He has a terrible attempt in 41 on the vertical limit burst. He's down. His attempt in 42 was better. His attempt in 42 was significantly better. He made it significantly, noticeably further. I'm not saying I think he can beat the burst. I think the burst is an incredibly hard obstacle. You have to be ready for it on the day. You have to be perfect with it. But can I see him consistently improving? Absolutely. He's done nothing but improve throughout his whole career. But at the same time, like, they're not marketing him. They're not airing him at all in full. Anything like that. They don't do anything with him. I would keep him because he's made the final twice. There's only 6 other people who can say that they've made the final more than once. So I'd keep him for that reason alone. I would cut Araki. I would cut Araki at minimum. I might cut Keitaro. Everyone wants to talk about his potential. He hasn't reached it. He hasn't reached it. Keitaro is just turning into another Ryo, who I think also needs to be cut. Yeah, we talk about potential. You lose me. Oh my gosh, my cat jumped on my lap to learn to eat popcorn. There you go, girl. Eat the popcorn. Who would I force, retire, or cut out of any competitors? Okay. I'm gonna rapid fire. I'm cutting Hioki first thing. Cutting Hioki. I'm cutting Ryo. I'm cutting Shunsuke. I'm cutting Suzuki. I'm maybe cutting Muto. He's getting borderline. I'm cutting Araki. I'm cutting... Gosh. I don't know if we cut Tomo anymore, honestly, guys. Tomo's kind of earned his spot back up in my rankings, my personal rankings. We cut every single all-star except for Shingo. That hurts so much to say because I'm cutting Nagano. And I'm cutting Yamada. And I'm cutting Bunpei. And it's great to have Bunpei back. I'd cut all 3 of them. Absolutely. Because they're old. They're not going to provide us anything besides nostalgia. And as much as I love the nostalgia, it's like, those are 3 other spots you could give to other people. And I agree, Topaz. That's exactly how I feel about Tomo. But yeah, no, I would sideline all of the all-stars. Nagano and Yamada are coaches now. They're mentors. Let them be on the sideline. You can still show both of them a lot. Their impact does not lessen if they're on the sidelines. It will never dwindle like that. It's still Nagano and Yamada. Like, yeah, I don't know. I find it stupid that the All-Stars are still going, even though Nagano has his son. I think it's really stupid that Yamada's still going. Because of what? Honor? Like, great. That's great. Give the spot to someone else. Make a 3rd Black Tiger spot. You could do so much more with 3 Black Tigers in the tournament from the trial, plus Yoshi, instead of cutting one of them. Yeah. Shingo needs to stay. Shingo's the only all-star I would keep because of the perfect attendance. If he chooses to retire, I will cry End of statement. I would cut a lot of celebrities, but like obviously it's not realistic. I would not cut him necessarily, but I would try and convince Yuji to retire. He's just getting to that age at this point. But I loved watching the resurgence of Yuji from 34 onward. Yeah. Because, like, if you cut even those people, that's like 10 people. 10 new spots for new people to come from trials or for anything else like that. That is instantly more intriguing to me. And you no longer have to flood those 10 spots with returning athletes. You can put people like Imoto or whoever else from the trials does well in the trials. You can start inviting them and giving them spots. And then the trial spots will be empty for 3 new hopefuls. Like, I don't understand what's so difficult to understand about that. Like, I say all this, and I say all this about these competitors, not including the results from 43. I do know how they do in 43. I'm not going to say. I'm just basing it off of what we have all seen so far up to 42. The celebrities do care. So the celebrities are too busy to actually properly train, but they care. Goat Risawa is crazy. Okay, who do you think's doing better, Torisawa or Pansky? One vote, Pansky. I also think Pansky. I only know the results of number 69, Geo, onwards for stage 1. My guess for Torisawa is that he fails the very first jump onto the prism. Pansky fails the jump from the prism to the rolling hill. That's my genuine guess. Yeah. You know what would be fun? Having special guest like classic competitors, but not all at once. Like all the all-stars at once. It's really rough, you know, like it's like I just said, I don't think it's a very efficient way to use space for numbers. But everyone was hyped as heck about Kane coming back in 40 and Akiyama coming back in 40 and even Hashimoto coming back in 40. Everyone was super hyped about Bunpei coming back last year. Just rotate everyone through the roster like that. Okay, this year our special returning classic competitor is Akira Omori. Next year, we've got Nagano slotted in. The year after that, we've got Kane Kasugi coming back. And you just keep rotating them, and the only classic competitor that stays for every single one is Shingo, because obviously it's Shingo. So, that's my personal solution. It makes it more rare and exciting when someone's coming back as well. Even though you know they're probably going to fail stage 1. That's my personal... Yeah. That's my personal opinion. I was surprised Bunpei came back. But also... not. You can tell that Bunpei he was having fun with it. So, like... the fact that he's having fun with it again is great. I saw someone say that Shingo's last chance to make stage 3 is this tournament. I was like, bro, what are we smoking right now? Like, what drugs are we on? Dumb. The delusion. The delulu be hitting. Copium and Nostalgizer. I'm dead. Shingo couldn't even do it in 40. Oh. I am just gonna say when I was informed of the changes, right? Just the changes, not the results, just the changes to the course. My immediate thought was, well, we're not getting 28 clears again. Like, that was my first prediction. Now I know how many people clear the course. That's something entirely different. But my big thing is, I've said this before, if you're training for the same obstacles over and over, eventually sometime you're going to beat every single one of them. It was a matter of time for Shingo, because he would run that course over and over and over and over until it finally paid off in 40. Now that it's changed and certain athletes are older and whatever else, I have a feeling that these next couple of tournaments, some of them could hit blocks to where they might not hit a buzzer again for a while, you know? Not ever, but for a while. But also, not too much has changed. And also, it can depend on the rain. So, yeah, it just depends. Anyways, guys, I am going to end this stream. I'm going to change my shirt. I'm going to drive over to work out. And we're going to work out. So, if you guys want to keep talking about Sasuke with me on the next stream, I will be live in about 13 minutes. I hope to see you guys soon. Take care.